First I want to talk about the area I'm in. You can see it's a low-lying, swampy area with, lots of mature hardwoods. This is coon central. Coon and possum love areas like this. This is the type of area that you want to put what I'm about to show you. This is a decent sized deadfall. It's not a large one. I would venture to say, with all the extra weight I added, it's probably about 100 pounds, which is going to be more than enough to take out, a 20, 30 pound raccoon, or, anything in that 25 to 30, maybe 40 pound range. What is important is the angle that you build your deadfall. Ideally, you want it at a 45-degree angle, which I'm not quite there. Slightly less than 45 is acceptable. The angle is as important as weight. With the correct angle, a lot of people say you want it to be 5 or 10 times the weight of the animal you're trying to kill. With the correct angle and the correct setup, 3 times is plenty. 2 to 3 times the weight of the animal that you intend to kill. You can see, my main drop log was probably 40 pounds, and each subsequent piece I added is probably anywhere from 10 to 15, maybe 20 pounds. You can really build up weight quick. You set your main fall log up, and then you can keep adding pieces of wood. I did 3 going back, and that's my bait pen. I would shove all my bait back there, probably something nasty, fish, guts, anything of that nature will work fine. You can see I tried to make the bait pen as impenetrable as possible. I'm assuming the avenue of approach would be from the low-lying wooded area into the trap. The bad thing about something like this is you can't really particularly set it up right where you want it all the time. There's not trees, you need 2 trees close together, and you tie a crossbar. And the trigger is very simple. It's a rope tied to your fall log, flipped over with a stick going down like that, and your trip bar. You can make a little ramp up there, or just put a couple pieces, make sure there's a couple pieces coming off of your trip bar to increase the chances an animal sets that off. The idea, the animal trying to get to the bait in the back, climbs over that trip bar, and that's it for him. You can hear the power that came down with. That would crush him, or at least immobilize him until you get there. And over time, obviously, if he doesn't die from the immediate fall, he's going to suffocate. It's going to break his ribs and crush his lungs, and he ain't going to last too long. I put this here because this is a good spot, and I am actually going to set this, come back with some bait and set it. But if you're going to build a semi-permanent trap like this, you want it in a spot like this that you're going to be able to catch. And yeah, you can rig something like this up on an absolutely massive scale. If you have a good axe and a strong friend, there's no reason 2 men couldn't rig something like this up for a bear. You really only need, you can use nails to attach your crossbar. It would be, in an afternoon, I guarantee, with some help, I could rig something like this up that would be 800 pounds, and it would kill a bear. Just give me a good axe and a strong buddy. But that's the premise of a large game deadfall. This is the kind of trap that's going to secure you the meat that you need to really last. If you don't have very many steel traps, which you should have plenty of steel traps, but things like this should definitely be used, and they do work. Tell you a story. I was snaring rabbits at a wildlife area near here a few years ago. I was 17, and I kept getting my rabbits stolen by hawks and coyotes and foxes and everything else. So I made a big deadfall like this, and I just every time I killed something, I'd gut it and I'd throw the guts in the back. And it wasn't but a week or so until I caught a large raccoon, a very large raccoon in that deadfall, and it killed him. And you know, that was my first real experience with a deadfall trap, and it works. They can work. This is the exact trigger I used, and this is the exact kind of area I built it, and I built it like this. And I was thinking I was going to be able to catch a coyote in it, which you could probably catch and kill a desperate coyote in this. They're probably not going to stick their head in something like this, though. I am going to eventually show a slightly different trigger in as a blind set in a trail. This is a large game deadfall, and I really like these. The only bad thing about them is, obviously, survival is a year-round thing. You need to eat. You're going to be trapping pretty much year-round, and in the summer, you do not want to be using a bunch of deadfalls in any kind of warm weather at all. Like right now, it's chilly today, but it's been warm. It's weird. So I'm going to wait until we have a decent little cold snap coming, and then I'm going to bait this, and I'm going to set it. And that's that. Medium to large game deadfall. Pretty fucking simple, and it's something that you need to know. You should practice with a little bit. And these are inherently dangerous. Never stick your hand under a large deadfall that is set. This one probably wouldn't hurt you too bad. It would hurt you, and it'd be a pain to get out from under, even though it only weighs probably 100, maybe 120 pounds. That falling on your arm like that, it would hurt. It might not break it. It would hurt really bad, and you would have a hard time getting yourself out. All right, here's another large deadfall trigger. I don't like this one as much, but I'm going to show it anyway. I like the other one better. The other one can be used with a bait pen behind it or as a blind set. This one can be used either way too. Same crossbar between a couple trees, nice and solid. And I like something about forearm thickness, wrist thick, and green. And the same fall log and a piece of cord up over your cross piece, and that goes down, just a stick, and you can see it just locks into a notch on this stick, which is tied at the back of our fall log. This is a little more touchy to set, and it requires carving. I don't really like either of those things, but it is a pretty decent trigger system. You can keep piling on weight until it's as heavy as you need it to be. This is set on a game trail, kind of a run. It's old, but, and to where, you know, the critter's coming down the trail, he's gonna crawl over that stick and hit it with his belly, and it's gonna fall on him. Wait for a fucking car to go by. All right. And if you're having a hard time finding logs to make your deadfall heavy enough, one thing you can do, take some spikes and lash them. Okay, back to what I was talking about. If you can't find enough logs to make your deadfall heavy enough, or you just want to ensure that the trap is going to have a little more killing power, if that's what you want to call it, you could lash some spikes onto the side, or take a bunch of big nails or whatever and pound them in on the bottom of your fall log, cut the heads off. But yeah, it's pretty simple though. You could make a bait pen back here and bait it, or set it up as a blind set in a trail. But your critter comes along, crawls over that stick. Oh, that's another reason I don't really like this trigger as much. As you set it, it's kind of dangerous. This piece, the lever, can pop right up and hit you in the face, and this is a touchier trigger, so I don't like this one as much as the other one that I showed. But I'm going to show it anyway because it is a pretty decent trigger, other than it's just a little touchy. Plenty of logs, so you can make this thing easily fucking heavy enough to kill a small bear. And yeah, 2 large game deadfalls. I showed the correct way to make a figure 4 on my YouTube channel back in the day. I might revisit that topic. But these are deadfall triggers, and in my opinion, if you're gonna do primitive traps, because you don't have enough steel ones, you don't have any steel traps, snares, whatever, deadfalls are the way I would go over snares with like natural cordage. It's just, for me, it's more reliable. You're never gonna have a critter chew out of a deadfall. It's just bad in the warmer months because they're lethal traps. But yeah, this is good shit to know. You need to know this kind of stuff. I like to eat, and I like to eat on a regular basis. So, I mean, I know the basic survival shit. You can learn that on 100 different fucking TV channels and YouTube channels, and there's books on it. You don't see this kind of stuff too often. But yeah, if I was setting this for real, I'm not setting this for real. This isn't even a super active trail. I would fence it off, obviously. Probably add a couple more logs to it just to make sure it's going to be heavy enough. But that's a deadfall for you. I don't like this trigger as much as the other one, like I said.